Hi, it's Danny from Danny's Sports Bar in Pattaya. Looking ahead at the week in the world of sports. And it's an interesting week this week, but let's first say we just finished the Winter Olympics. Incredible hockey game on the last day with the USA beating Canada in overtime for the gold medal. We had an absolute packed house here at Danny's. That's this week. That was last week. Next week, we've got the start of the AFL and NRL seasons in Australia, the start of the World Baseball Classic all over the world. We've got the start of the Formula One season. That's next week. But let's concentrate first on this week. And this week, we're going to talk mostly about European football. We'll talk about the UEFA Champions League, because tonight, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, there's going to be the second legs of the knockout games. Those are the games that take the teams that finish between 9th and 24th on the league stage and decide whether they get into the round of 16 in March. Once those are decided, on Friday at 6 p.m. our time, they'll have the draw for the round of 16. That's when you're going to find out who Arsenal play, who Bayern Munich play, who Tottenham Hotspur play, who Liverpool play, who Manchester City play in the round of 16 in March. So that'll be on Friday after we find out who qualifies through the knockout games this week. Then this weekend, we go back to league games. And there's some very interesting matchups, some big rivalry matchups this weekend. One of them in Germany on Saturday at 12:30. They call it Der Klassiker. Dortmund, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich. The top two teams in Germany, they're 1-2 in the standings. Now, right now, Bayern Munich are the dominant team. They're ahead by a little ways in the Bundesliga, but Dortmund, of course, are trying to close that gap and get one up on their arch rivals, Bayern Munich. So that's Saturday at 12:30. In the Premier League, there's also a game Saturday at 12:30. Leeds United playing Manchester City. Smaller rivalry, but a huge game as we go through, both at the bottom end of the table with Leeds, although they probably should be safe, but certainly at the top end of the table, where Manchester City, they're 5 points behind Arsenal, but they have a game in hand. So if they win the game in hand, they'd be 2 points back. They have a game against Arsenal, which means that not only do Arsenal control their own destiny, whereas if they won all their games, they would win the Premier League title this year. But right now, because of Arsenal's draw against the Wolves last week, and because Manchester City have started winning games every week, right now Manchester City also control their own destiny in that if they win the rest of their games, they would win the league. But they play Leeds on Saturday. Then on Sunday at 11:30 p.m., Arsenal, who just beat their big rivals Tottenham Hotspur, play another big London rival, Chelsea, at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal's home ground, at 11:30 on Sunday night. So especially if Manchester City beat Leeds to go within 2 points, Arsenal are going to really want to expand that lead back to 5 points. And Chelsea, having recently hired their new manager, results only so-so. They drew with Burnley last week, the next to last place team in the league. But you know they'll be up for a game against Arsenal. We'll see how that goes. Also on Sunday, Rangers and Celtic. And I could say Rangers and Celtic the next two Sundays. This week, it's in the Scottish Premiership. Right now, they're second and third in the league, which is unusual that neither one of them is top of the league at the moment. But both of them have a real chance still to win the Scottish Premiership, and normally one of them does win. Hearts right now are top, but trying to become the team that can challenge Hearts. Obviously, this Old Firm derby, which is a huge game no matter what the circumstances, there's extra to it this year because whoever wins it has that chance maybe to challenge Hearts for the Scottish Premiership title. Next week when they meet, it will be in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup. So that game is at 7 Sunday, the Scottish Premiership game this week. Also this weekend, MotoGP starts off. MotoGP, they're in Thailand this week in Buriram. The race is at 3 p.m. on Sunday. We will have that. I said the NRL next week, but there are two NRL games on Sunday. They're playing in Las Vegas, which means it'll be early for us. We won't show the first game, which is 9:30 a.m., but we'll open just a bit early on Sunday to show the second game of the NRL season, the Bulldogs and Dragons, at 11:30 this Sunday. And then going ahead, starting Thursday of next week, a full weekend of NRL games Also a full weekend of AFL games, the opening weekend in Australia for both of those leagues. The World Baseball Classic we mentioned starts next Wednesday night, and Wednesday is a big night for us here at Danny's. We have our next big party. My stepson, Woody, who lives in New York, he's escaped the snow to come here to celebrate his birthday. We'll all be celebrating with him. Plenty of free food, good food, and some music, and the usual fun of one of our parties. So we hope you can join us for that. We hope you can join us for the sports this week, anytime here at Danny's.